Hey folks, Phil Gallagher here for round 3 with my heavily metagamed deck list, featuring 4 Mirren Crusaders and a bunch of other slightly questionable choices. This is going to be so good against some decks and so terrible versus other decks. We'll keep this one for you all. I'm on the draw. There's so many cards that will just make this into a playable hand. If we're playing against Delver or something and start with like Giver and double Swords of Plowshares, it'll just feel so good. If, however, this is just going to be Ant, it looks pretty bad. Well, we got a playable card off the top, so we got that going for us. My opponent was F6, so it is starting to feel like Ant. Yep. And how do you feel about 4 surgical extractions? Just out of curiosity. Asking for a friend. So that was 1 bottom, 1 top with the first preordain. 1 bottom, 1 top with the second preordain. Shall we just rip Thalia like a master? We shall not. No point in really Ghost Quartering a land here. Ghost Quarter looking much worse than Rashad Port in this instance. Brainstorm off of Underground Sea instead of Tropical Island is really weird there. Like, really weird. Opponent must not be very close to going off. They're not leaving themselves with black mana in terms of like their sequencing. So I can knock them off of black mana. I can go Ghost Quarter the Underground Sea. They'll fetch Swamp, Ghost Quarter Swamp, and turn it into an island. I'm just going to confirm something, but I'm about 90%. I can just check this. This is Cyrus's deck list. Yeah, it's 1 island, 1 swamp. I think that's better than just like playing Sword of Fire and Ice by a considerable deal. So we Ghost Quarter again. Big pause here. I wonder if they pondered and left their most vital card on top. In which case, this is a win for me. They fail to find a basic land card, do they? I take back everything that I said about the Ghost Quarter. So now if I do this again, I'm both potentially getting rid of their card and knocking them off of red mana for Past in Flames. That's... Oh, this is a weird spot. But you've already shown me that you have access to black mana, potentially, if you're not willing to do that. Alright, now they're willing to... Hold on. Does my opponent have Island Swamp in hand? Or have I just, like, completely missed the mark on what deck they are playing? I've completely missed the mark on what deck they are playing. Okay. That's awkward. That really looked like Ant. This game is awkward now. This isn't bad for me. I've just hemorrhaged resources in a wrong direction. The game becomes very awkward if my opponent has Lightning Bolt here. Yeah, okay. I mean, I'm kind of in the position where I have to jam this. Oh, it did just resolve. Now I need a duder. So getting a creature equipped is a great way to deal with the Wrenn and 6. Otherwise, we can just, like, revoke it. Alright, my opponent's Delver deck is mighty strange. Elemental, sure. Well, that sucks. Note, I really do need to draw something in the next turn cycle. The Wrenn and 6 emblem is a big pain in the butt. Okay. So I have no idea what my opponent is doing. I assume that means they have Dreadhorde Arcanist in their deck. And this is a cute combo. I'm going to lose this one probably due to just, like, misevaluating what deck my opponent was on. Like, if I had just, like, kept these lands around and used them to hardcast my sword earlier, I could have potentially gotten the Mirran Crusader equipped, played around Bolt. I don't think my opponent's playing Daze. At this point, I'm assuming they are not a Delver deck. And that they just happen to have Goyfs. So this is that one. We'll say no to that one. Say yes to that one. So the problem is that if I just play Tomic and don't try to protect it via Lightning Bolt, protect it from Lightning Bolt, excuse me, I think I'm going to hold this a turn. Like, the Renin 6 is still going to ultimate, in all likelihood. I think doing this for free off of Ether Vial and then, like, at least attempting an equip is better. It also puts me in the situation where I can, like, have something on 2, something on 3, vial them both in, attempt to equip both, and actually get something equipped. Yep, super glad I didn't hardcast Atomic for Force of Will reasons now. All right, opponent getting pretty greedy with the Renin 6, not just taking the emblem there. Not really sure that I agree with that decision, but they're the one with 2 Planeswalkers at high loyalty, so what do I know? What on earth could you be wanting to do right now? That's a little frustrating. Sorry, the cat's scratching the door. One moment. Don't scratch. Don't scratch. Now I think I'm just going to go ahead and concede the game. I think I have enough information to know how to sideboard. So, Needle for walkers seems good. Rest in Peace is probably going to dismantle their entire strategy. I'll take Council's Good Judgment, Recruiter of the Guard, and Palace Jailer. I'll go ahead and trim most to all of this sort of stuff. I'm not really sure if Revokers are actually going to stick around long enough to actually shut off their Planeswalkers. So I'll probably end up boarding those out. I know that's kind of weird, but Pithing Needle is only going to be exposed to K command, whereas Needle is going to be exposed to K command, and that's probably about it, maybe in a braid or something like that, whereas Revoker is going to be vulnerable to all the lightning bolts and stuff as well. So I'll also probably junk my Giver of Runes. Or, well, my opponent has Plague Engineers too. So I need to be cognizant of my 1 toughness creatures. I kind of want to shave some Flicker Wisps. I want the Thalias when I'm on the play for sure. When I'm on the draw, they'll become slightly more questionable. And at the same time, like, maybe I should keep a couple of these in as an out to Plague Engineer. Like, I guess if I'm trimming a little bit of everything, though, I care less about Plague Engineer. Let's do something that looks like this. Keep. Really do need the Vial to resolve, but we have... Outside of the Batter Skull, I like everything else about this hand. Has amazing potential if I go and draw a white source for turn 2. Don't like null rod me or something stupid. A null rod or pithing needle on Vile right now would just be so devastating. That's okay. We can mitigate almost everything that's going on with that card by just drawing a land so that I can rest in peace. Or not. Not is fine too. How hard am I going to try to ride this Tomic to victory? Because I can Ghost Quarter one land, waste land the other land, play Tomic, and hope that that's good enough. I have my Vials to dump in my Recruiter and Thalia next turn. I'm in. Wastelanding and Ghost Quartering in the face of Wrenn and 6, not usually the path to victory. But here we are. Don't just like land Lightning Bolt me and make me feel super dumb. That's super frustrating. That was such a good line. But now I'm further away from, like, Rest in Peace, and Thalia is not good in this board now. Alright. So again, we're going to put our opponent in the position where they need to have a piece of removal this turn, or I probably get to take over the game. This is fine. Just let me confirm Palace Jailer is in my deck. Yes, Palace Jailer is in my deck. Alright, so Wrenn and 6 is down. Opponent is injured. I'm the Monarch. I have 4 creatures. However, a good portion of what I can do with these vials has been mitigated. Man, I hate that thing. Alright, well that's fantastic. And I do legitimately mean that. If my opponent attacks and tries to become the Monarch, I get to, like, ambush them with that. Alright, and there's a land for Rest in Peace or Stoneforge. I guess the next question is, how many Lightning Bolts is my opponent actually playing? Thoughtseize. Okay. Well, that makes this a requirement. My opponent will be faced with 3 very good cards here. They are taking Stoneforge. Do I want to attack for 3, or do I want to attack for 5? It's mostly like, how much do I care about my opponent's Dreadhorde Arcanist if I have Rest in Peace in play? The answer is probably not that much, but then becoming the Monarch and drawing some cards is problematic. I think I'm just going to attack in with the Flicker Wisp. It would not fault anyone for swinging in with the Crusader as well. But I think I just want to be safe here. Like, if my opponent has Bolt, for example, and they like Bolt Mirror Crusader, and that's their only piece of removal, I can just chump block with Jailer, continue to draw cards. In all likelihood, Mirror Crusader isn't going to be the difference between a 1 and a 2-turn clock. Also, somewhat happy that my opponent is just drawing Wastelands, which are blanked by my planes. Okay, command. Kill my Flicker Wisp. Destroy a Vial. Yeah, that's fine. Do I care about taking my opponent off of green? Because that is something that I can do. Green is Tarmogoyf, and that's probably it. It also is black-black. I don't think black-black matters all that much. What about the amount of mana? It's potentially double spell? Keeping my land around means that Mirror Crusader is lethal next turn via Stoneforge Mystic. So I think I'm just going to take that, no attack, just ride the Monarch to victory. A second Plague Engineer is a problem. Like, a second Plague Engineer on human gets rid of Crusader Jailer, leaves me with Stoneforge. Okay. Do I want to trade 2 creatures for Engineer, or do I just want to chump block? I think I just want to chump block, and then, like, Stoneforge put in Batterskull on my turn, while also giving myself the opportunity to put in Batterskull. Flicker Wisp. So I can cast Flicker Wisp, flicker up planes, put in Batterskull off Stoneforge Mystic end of turn. That's pretty strong. It sucks if my opponent has Force of Will. It really sucks that my opponent has Force of Will. So much, in fact, that I probably don't want to do that. I think I'm going to take this opportunity to knock them off of green now. Now that I don't have a bunch of creatures, I do care more about my opponent top decking something like a Tarmogoyf. It's slightly difficult to tell what my opponent has. Like, I don't know how much my Rest in Peace is doing versus, like, how much of their difficulty is just coming from having multiple wastelands and not colored mana. That's very unclear to me right now. So that requires me to put in the Batterskull now, which may just end up getting abraded. I mean, yes. Well, that's quite strong. So I'll Flicker Wisp, blink the Batterskull, and attack for 1 with Stoneforge. That's the turn cycle. Monarch is a fair and balanced mechanic. Right? Right? Just me? Just me. Rip Pauper players. We gotta go through another game of that? Oh, man. Okay, does anything change when I am on the draw? When I'm on the draw, I feel like my Thalias are going to be worse. My opponent's still a control deck and everything. But if I invalidate their graveyard, they're really not doing a lot. I wonder if I'm supposed to, like, play this one with a really long game in mind. Like, Jitte doesn't seem the best. Maybe we cut that. What if I cut the Thalias, play a couple of Source to Plowshares for Plague Engineer? Well, I guess if I'm cutting the Thalias, the Plague Engineers are less good. It still has Death Touch, though. Are the givers even good? So my game plan is right now is kind of just like invalidate their primary angle of attack, and then long-term ride Mirran Crusader and or Palace Jailer to victory. This seems fine. Don't scratch. Our hand is a little soft to Thoughtseize taking Palace Jailer. But I don't think we can throw back a hand that has an Aether Vial start and Jailer. Like those are two very strong pieces of the puzzle, I think, for us winning this match. I will be hoping to draw something to bridge the mid game here, because like a Wrenn and 6 coming down this turn is pretty annoying. It means that my Wasteland Vial plan looks worse. Yep. We have Needle, Council's Judgment, Rest in Peace, Revoker to draw towards. We have a lot of answers for that. Or you can just keep drawing planes too. That's I guess okay. My opponent is potentially going to get a lot of value while I stumble. I'm really glad that people misplay against Giver of Runes so frequently. And just, like, bolt it immediately. It's not Mom, you can let me untap with it. So the unfortunate thing now is I probably just have to, like, jam the Palace Jailer into my opponent's board next turn and become the Monarch. And if they have a counter spell, or if they can, like, answer it and put a body on the battlefield, I am in trouble. I think I need to effectively and efficiently use my mana here. I will give them another turn of Wrenn and 6 in order to do that. I'm still running like 21 creatures, I think, in the deck in this post-sideboard configuration. But we're running real hot on hitting the non-creatures. A council's judgment is so good here. So good. But I do have a good number of high caliber draws this turn. I just need to not hit a land. That's really unfortunate. So I guess that means I'm probably locked into waste landing. I'm not super happy about. I guess I care about this green source. Reasonable draw that's not a land. Reasonable draw that's not a land. All right, you're the monarch. That's okay. It's not the greatest, but it's okay. I can become the monarch again on my turn. Why don't you just start pinging me with the run and 6? It plussing is not going to do anything unless you have abrupt decay. These draws have been very frustrating. I guess I can get a Stoneforge Mystic, play the Stoneforge Mystic, go for Batter Skull. Alternatively, I can just get the Palace Jailer and make them Thoughtseize it away or counter it. I think I am actually going to take that route. I just think that my opponent can interact with the Stoneforge from too many different angles for it to be good. Like, discard is good against it, removal is good against it. I also have to start worrying about this thing just drawing 4 cards and putting the game out of reach from a different angle. I have a Trop and an Underground Sea in exile. It's possible that, like, after Ghost Quartering my opponent again, I will take them off of a color completely. That's unfortunate. But the Stoneforge would have lost to that just as hard. Yeah, I think that should have started happening in a previous turn, to be honest. All right, just give me an answer to the Royal Scions. That's a great starting point. Not super happy about this current situation. I'm going to knock my opponent off of Abrupt Decaying my Stoneforge. But I should basically just be dead. My opponent can just, like, -8 this Royal Scion and just kill me. All right, GG. I think we just drew way too many lands that game. Like, going back to this, for so much of that game, we had Revoker, Needle, Council's Judgment, Recruiter for them, just another body on the battlefield, a couple of the Swords of Plowshares we left in. We had so many draws that were good, and we fell short there. That is the sort of matchup that's going to be difficult for us, just historically speaking. But I feel like we were on the wrong side of variance there. All right, I'll be back tomorrow.